Hello, church. We're looking at Exodus chapters 3 and 4 today for our daily Bible reading. Word of the day is excuses. That's what we see here. In the first two chapters, we get kind of the introduction of the problem. What is happening? Who's our hero is Moses. The problem is the people of Israel being punished in Egypt. And so God has to intervene and help. So his choice is this man, Moses. And you would think, okay, Moses should be happy for the job, right? Happy to be used by God. Except as we read these chapters, we see over and over again Moses giving God excuses. Instead of being a humble, obedient servant, he is giving complaint or excuse after excuse of why he is not fit for the job. Even though God has clearly told him he will be with him, he will guide him, he is to be doing these things, Moses keeps coming back with excuses why he's not able to be the man God wants him to be. Encouragement is, if you haven't read this verses yet, try to keep track of how many excuses Moses gives God. But as much as it's easy for us to look at the shortfalls or shortcomings of people in the Bible, namely Moses here in these passages, how often do we do this to God? Where God tells us a command to avoid this sin, to share the gospel with somebody at work, to pray for somebody, to do whatever it is God may be calling us to do. We come up with excuse after excuse after excuse instead of just listening to God. The good and bad part, as we continue to read through the book of Exodus, this isn't going to be the only excuse or complaint that we see from Moses or the people of Israel. Let's not repeat this. Once again, let's learn from history and let's see how to properly respond. And we do see some good, proper response. So at the end of chapter 4, verse 31, we read this of how the nation of Israel responds after realizing God is working and seeking to relieve their suffering, their pain, to give them escape from Egypt. And we read this. And the people believed, and when they heard that the Lord had visited the people of Israel and that he had seen their affliction, they bowed their heads and worshipped. Can we do that? Instead of giving God excuses, can we worship God? In Romans chapter 12, it tells us that we're not to be conformed to the patterns of this world, but we are to be living sacrifices as our worship to God. Can we do that? All right, church, have a great day.